You work hard every day. You spend long hours at your office or at home doing tasks. You answer emails, join meetings, finish projects, and try to learn new things. But when you look at your career after 1 year, or 2 years, or even 3 years, something feels wrong. Your position is almost the same. Your salary increases very slowly. You feel more tired than before, but your career does not move forward. You look back at the recent years and you feel confused. You tried hard, you did your best, but your position has not changed much. The feeling is very clear. You are busy, but you are not growing. This situation happens to many people. You might think the problem is about you. Maybe you are not smart enough. Maybe you are not working hard enough. Maybe you do not have the right skills or the right connections. You feel frustrated because you cannot understand why other people move forward while you stay in the same place. You start to blame yourself. You think there is something wrong with your ability or your talent. But here is the truth that most people do not tell you. The problem is not that you lack ability. It is not that you are lazy or not intelligent. The real problem is something different. Your energy is divided into too many small pieces. You are working on many things at once, but none of them gets your full attention. Nobody told you about this, so you keep blaming yourself for something that is not really your fault. Your career is not stuck. Your focus is fragmented. Think about it this way. When your mind is pulled in many different directions, it cannot create real force. Without force, there is no leverage. Without leverage, there is no big jump in your career. And this is exactly what today's topic is about. Welcome back to Fluent English with Radio. We are going to talk about something that might change the way you think about your career. In today's discussion, you will understand 3 important things. First, you will learn why lack of focus keeps your career in the same place even when you work very hard. Second, you will discover what real focus in your career actually means. It is not about doing fewer tasks, but about putting all your strength into one single point to create a breakthrough. Third, you will learn how to use focus to create career leverage in the next few years. These ideas are simple, but they are powerful. They can help you see your work in a completely new way. 1. What focus means in your career, and what it doesn't. Let's start with the first important idea. We need to redefine what focus really means in your career. Many people think that focus means doing fewer things. They believe that if they just reduce the number of tasks, they will have better focus. But that is not the complete picture. Real focus is not just about doing less. Focus means putting most of your energy into one direction that creates the highest value and temporarily ignoring the rest. Here's a clearer way to understand it. When you focus, you choose one main path. You decide that this path is the most important for your future. Then you give this path most of your time, your energy, and your attention. Other things still exist, but they do not get your main energy. They stay in the background while you concentrate on what really matters. Think about a river. When water flows in many different directions at once, it becomes weak. It spreads across a wide area, but never creates real force. But when that same water flows in one focused channel, it becomes powerful. It can carve through rock. It can move heavy objects. It can generate electricity. The amount of water did not change. What changed was the direction of flow. Your career energy works exactly like this river. When it flows in many directions, it becomes weak and ineffective. When it flows in one focused direction, it becomes powerful and creates real results. Now, let's look at the mechanism behind this. What happens when you do not have focus? When you try to learn many things at the same time, work in many different roles, and accept every task that comes to you, your brain stays in a reactive state. You are always responding to something. Your phone rings and you answer it. An email arrives and you reply. Someone asks you to do something and you say yes. Your brain jumps from one thing to another thing all day long. In this reactive state, your brain never goes deep into anything. You touch the surface of many topics, but you never dig deep into one area. You become busy, but you do not become excellent at anything specific. Scientists have studied how our brains work when we switch between tasks frequently. They found something interesting. Every time you switch from one task to another task, your brain needs time to adjust. This adjustment time might seem short, maybe just a few seconds. But when you add up all these switching moments throughout a day, you lose hours of productive time. More importantly, your brain never enters the deep state where real learning happens and where creative solutions emerge. You stay on the surface all day long, and at the end of the day, you feel exhausted, but you have not accomplished anything meaningful. The consequence of this scattered approach is clear. You end up knowing a little bit about many things. You have some knowledge about marketing, some skills in communication, some experience in project management, and some understanding of technology. But none of these skills becomes strong enough to create real leverage for you. The market does not pay high prices for people who know a little bit about everything. The market pays high prices for people who know one thing very deeply and can solve important problems with that deep knowledge. When you spread yourself too thin, you become average in everything instead of excellent in one thing. So here is a micro action you can take right now. Take a piece of paper and write down 3 things you are spending most of your time on these days. Look at these 3 things carefully. Now ask yourself this question. Which one of these things will truly help you increase your value in the next 2 to 3 years? Think about your future. Think about where you want to be. Think about what skill or knowledge will make you more valuable. Then circle only one thing, just one. This is your focus point. This is where you should put most of your energy. Remember this important line. Your career does not grow because you are doing too many things that do not create real force. 2. Why hardworking people stay stuck. Let's shift our attention to the second key point. We need to understand why hardworking people still stay in the same position. This sounds strange, right? How can someone who works hard not move forward? But this happens all the time. The reason is simple but powerful. Being hardworking does not equal going far. The market rewards people who create rare value, not people who are the most tired. This point is worth repeating. The market does not care how tired you are. The market does not care how many hours you worked. The market only cares about the value you create. If you create common value that many people can create, you get common pay. If you create rare value that few people can create, you get high pay. This is a difficult reality that most people prefer to ignore. We grow up believing that hard work always leads to success. Our parents tell us to work hard. Our teachers tell us to work hard. Society tells us that if we just put in enough hours and enough effort, we will succeed. But this is only half of the truth. Hard work is necessary, but it is not sufficient. You also need to work on the right things. You need to create value that is different and difficult to replace. Now, let's look at the trap that keeps hard-working people from moving forward. When you do not have focus, you always stay at the execution level. You stay busy doing tasks. You finish things that other people ask you to do. You complete projects and check boxes on your to-do list, but you never climb up to the level of solving big problems. There is a big difference between these two levels. People who solve tasks are easy to replace. If you leave, the company can find another person to do the same tasks. But people who solve big problems are hard to replace. They understand the deep issues. They see patterns that others miss. They create solutions that others cannot think of. When you stay at the execution level, you become replaceable. When you move to the problem-solving level, you become valuable. Here is a simple example to make this clearer. Imagine a restaurant. Some workers wash dishes. Some workers serve tables. Some workers prepare simple parts of meals. These are execution-level tasks. They are important, but they are easy to learn and easy to replace. Now think about the head chef. The head chef creates new recipes. They understand flavors deeply. They solve problems when something goes wrong. They train other people. The head chef is very hard to replace. This is why the head chef earns much more than the other workers. The same principle applies to every field and every industry. When you remain at the execution level, here is what happens. Your salary increases very slowly because you are not creating rare value. Your role does not change because you are doing the same type of work as many other people. Big opportunities do not come to you because people do not see you as someone who can handle complex challenges. You work hard, you feel tired, but you do not move forward. The sad truth is that many people spend years at this level without realizing they need to change their approach. They keep waiting for someone to notice their hard work and promote them. But promotion does not come from working hard at the execution level. Promotion comes from moving up to the problem-solving level. Try this simple exercise to see where you stand. Ask yourself this direct question. If I leave my job today, would my position be easy to replace? Be honest with yourself. Think about what you do every day. Think about your skills and your contributions. If the answer is yes, if your position would be easy to replace, then your leverage is currently 0. This is not a comfortable thing to realize, but it is important information. If you are easy to replace, you need to build focus and develop rare value. Remember this line: no focus means no difference. No difference means no leverage. 3. How focus creates career leverage. Now let us turn to the third important idea. We need to understand how focus creates career leverage. To begin, we need to clearly define what career leverage actually means. Career leverage is a capability that makes the company need you, makes opportunities come to you, and lets your income grow without needing to work much harder. When you have leverage, things become easier. You do not need to chase opportunities. Opportunities chase you. You do not need to prove your value every time. Your reputation proves it for you. You do not need to work twice as hard to earn twice as much. Your rare skill creates value that the market is willing to pay well for. Think about leverage in the physical world first. When you use a lever to lift a heavy rock, you do not need as much strength. The lever multiplies your force. A small push on one end creates a big movement on the other end. Career leverage works the same way. When you have it, a small amount of additional effort creates a large amount of additional results. Without leverage, you need to work twice as hard to earn twice as much. With leverage, working just a little bit harder might double or triple your income. This is the fundamental difference between people who struggle for every small increase and people who seem to grow effortlessly. Let me give you a concrete example. Imagine two professionals starting at the same time. Person A learns many different skills at a basic level. They know a bit about several tools and methods. Person B decides to become deeply expert in one specific area. They study it intensely and master every detail. After 3 years, Person A is still competing with thousands of others at average prices. Person B has become one of the few real experts. Companies seek them out specifically and pay premium rates. That is what leverage looks like in action. The mechanism is straightforward. Focus allows you to go deep into one skill for a long enough time. When you spend months or years developing one specific ability, that skill becomes stronger than what most other people have. Think about it like digging a well. If you dig 10 shallow holes, you will never find water. But if you dig one deep hole, you will reach water. Career leverage only appears when you have depth, not when you have width. Knowing a little about 10 things does not give you leverage. Knowing one thing very deeply gives you tremendous leverage. Here is why depth creates leverage while width does not. When you know something deeply, you can solve problems that others cannot solve. You can see solutions that others cannot see. You can work faster because you understand all the details and patterns. Companies and clients will pay premium prices for this kind of expertise. But when you only know things at a surface level, you can only solve surface-level problems. Many people can do what you do. Competition is high and prices are low. The market always pays more for rare abilities than for common abilities. From an economic perspective, the logic is simple. In any market, price is determined by supply and demand. When many people can do something, the price goes down. When few people can do something, the price goes up. When you spread yourself across many skills, you join the high supply group in every area. But when you go deep into one skill, you join a very small group of experts. Suddenly, you are in the low supply, high demand category. Your value multiplies automatically. There is another important aspect of leverage. When you have deep expertise, you become more efficient at creating value. Someone who truly understands a subject deeply can look at a complex problem and immediately see the core issue, while others are still trying to understand what the problem is. They can create solutions in hours that would take others weeks. This efficiency itself is a form of leverage. You create more value in less time. The consequence of this understanding changes everything. Without focus, you stay in a loop where you do more but receive less. You keep working harder, but your results do not match your effort. But with focus, one step forward opens many doors. When you become known for one specific skill or knowledge area, people start to think of you when they have problems in that area. Companies reach out to you. Recruiters contact you. Your network expands naturally because people want to connect with experts. One deep skill creates opportunities that spread in many directions. The progression over time follows a clear pattern. When you first start building deep expertise, progress feels slow. You are learning, practicing, improving gradually. During this phase, you do not see much external reward. But something important is happening beneath the surface. You are building a foundation that will create massive leverage later. Then, after you cross a certain threshold of expertise, opportunities start appearing faster. You get invited to projects you never applied for. People recommend you to others. Your reputation starts to work for you even when you are sleeping. There is something else that happens when you develop deep expertise through focus. You start to see connections and patterns that others miss. You develop intuition in your field. You can make decisions faster and with more confidence. Your work quality improves dramatically. All of these benefits compound over time. The gap between you and people who stayed at the surface level grows wider every month. After a few years, the difference becomes enormous. Here is a micro action you can take. Choose one strategic skill. This skill should meet 3 conditions. First, the market needs this skill. There should be real demand for it. Look at job postings and see what skills are mentioned in high-paying positions. Second, you already have some foundation in this skill. You are not starting from zero. This gives you a head start. Third, you can commit to going deep in this skill for 12 to 24 months. This is not a quick project. This is a medium-term investment in yourself. When you choose this skill wisely and commit to it fully, You are building real career leverage. One idea matters most. Focus transforms effort into leverage. 4. Why focus is harder today, but more valuable than ever. Now let's talk about the fourth important idea. We need to understand why focus is so difficult today, but also why it has become more valuable than ever. Here is something you need to redefine in your mind. Focus is no longer the default state. It has become a rare skill. In the past, people could focus more easily because there were fewer distractions. But today, everything has changed. The modern work environment is designed to break your focus constantly. Let me explain the mechanism behind this. Your work environment bombards you with notifications all day long. Messages come from email, chat apps, social media, and phone calls. Every notification pulls your attention away from what you are doing. Tasks get interrupted constantly. You start working on something important, and then someone needs your input on something else. You switch from one thing to another thing dozens of times per day. On top of this, our brains have become addicted to short-term dopamine hits. Every time you check your phone, every time you see a new message, your brain gets a small reward. This makes your brain crave more checking, more switching, more reacting. Over time, your brain gets used to reacting instead of focusing deeply. It forgets how to concentrate on one thing for a long period. Technology companies understand how human brains work, and they design their products to capture our attention. Every app wants you to check it frequently. Every platform wants you to stay engaged. They use colors, sounds, and notifications to trigger your brain's reward system. This is not an accident. This is intentional design based on psychology research. The result is that most people today have trained their brains to be distracted. They cannot sit still for 30 minutes without checking their phone. They cannot work on one task for an hour without interruption. Their focus muscle has become weak from lack of use. But here is the good news. Because focus has become so rare, it has also become extremely valuable. In a world where everyone is distracted, the person who can focus becomes a superstar. Think about it from a company's perspective. They have hundreds of employees who can respond to emails quickly. They have many people who can attend meetings and stay connected all day. But they have very few people who can sit down for several hours and solve a complex problem that requires deep thinking. Those few people become incredibly valuable to the company. The consequence of this modern challenge is serious. People who do not train their focus ability keep doing shallow work. They stay busy on the surface, touching many things, but never going deep. They never experience breakthrough moments because breakthroughs require deep work. They never develop rare skills because rare skills require sustained attention. On the other hand, people who develop strong focus can go further with less effort. While everyone else is distracted, focused people are building depth. While everyone else is reacting to notifications, focused people are creating valuable work. The gap between focused people and distracted people grows bigger every year. Successful people in every field have discovered one important truth. The ability to do deep, focused work for extended periods is becoming the most valuable skill in the modern economy. A software developer who can focus for 4 hours and write clean, efficient code is worth 10 developers who constantly get distracted. A writer who can focus and produce high-quality content is worth 20 writers who produce shallow, mediocre work. A strategist who can focus and develop breakthrough insights is worth 100 people who just attend meetings and send emails. The market is starting to understand this, and compensation is adjusting accordingly. One simple action can completely change your results. Every single day, protect 60 to 90 minutes for deep work. During this time, turn off all notifications. Close your email. Put your phone in another room. Work on only one thing, and make sure this one thing is something that creates leverage for your career. Do not use this time for emails or meetings or small tasks. Use this time for the work that truly matters. Use it for learning that deep skill. Use it for solving that complex problem. Use it for creating that valuable output. If you do this every day, you will be surprised at how much you can achieve in a few months. Some people say that they cannot find 60 to 90 minutes of uninterrupted time in their day. But this is not true. The truth is, they have not made it a priority. Everyone has the same 24 hours. The difference is how you use those hours. You can find time for deep work if you look at your day carefully. Maybe you wake up 1 hour earlier. Maybe you use the time before everyone else arrives at the office. Maybe you block time on your calendar and treat it as sacred. Where there is a will, there is a way. The question is not whether you have time. The question is whether you truly want to build career leverage. This is the key idea you should remember. Focus has become rare in our modern world. Because it is rare, people who have focus get paid high prices. Companies are desperate to find people who can do deep work. They have plenty of people who can react to emails quickly. They have plenty of people who can attend meetings and stay busy. But they have very few people who can focus deeply for extended periods and create breakthrough solutions. Therefore, if you master this rare focus, your career value will multiply. Now we are reaching the end of our discussion, but this is where the real action begins. You do not need to do more things. You need to stop dividing your energy into too many directions. Your career grows when your energy stops leaking in random directions and when your focus is maintained long enough to create real results. Today, you only need to do 3 things. First, choose one direction. Decide what skill deserves your main focus. Second, cut away the rest. Say no to tasks that do not support your main direction. Third, keep your focus long enough. Stay committed for months or years. You are not stuck. Your focus system is broken. Once you fix your focus system, everything changes. When you learn to push in one direction with all your strength, doors that seemed locked will suddenly open. Every time you face a choice, ask yourself 3 questions. First, does this increase my career leverage? Second, does this help me go deeper? Third, or does this just make me busier? These 3 questions will help you filter out the noise and focus on what truly matters. Stop being the person who does many things. Stop being proud of being busy. Instead, become the person who concentrates force in the right place. Become the person who goes deep while others stay shallow. The power of a focused mind is real. Your career does not need more effort. It needs more focus. You do not need to become someone else. You need to become a more focused version of yourself. Welcome to your new chapter. Your career leverage starts now.